Imagine being a little boy, barely 2 years old, watching your world split in two. Now imagine that moment being documented in cold legal terms, filed away in court papers for the world to see. That's exactly what happened to Halo Saint, the son of singer Halle Bailey and rapper DDG. And what these new court documents reveal will absolutely break your heart. This isn't just another celebrity custody battle. This is about a toddler who doesn't understand why mommy and daddy aren't together anymore, why he has to say goodbye when all he wants is to hold on. The pain, the tears, the refusal to let go, it's all there, captured in witness accounts that paint a devastating picture of what happens when love turns to legal warfare. So what exactly went down during that custody exchange? Why was little Halo crying and clinging to his father? And what do these explosive court documents really tell us about the battle between Halle Bailey and DDG? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal is going to shock you. Let's rewind for a second. Halle Bailey and DDG weren't always on opposite sides of a courtroom. In fact, their love story seemed like something straight out of a fairy tale. The Little Mermaid star and the rapper-turned-YouTuber were one of the most beloved couples in entertainment. They got together in 2022, went public at the BET Awards, and seemed absolutely smitten with each other. Halle even called DDG her first deep, real love in an interview with Essence. They were glowing, they were in love. And when baby Halo arrived in December 2023, it felt like their happy ending was complete. But fairy tales don't always have happy endings, do they? By October 2024, the couple announced their split. DDG posted a statement saying they were still best friends and would co-parent their son peacefully. Sounds mature, right? Sounds like they had it all figured out. But behind the scenes, things were far from peaceful. Within months, their amicable breakup would explode into one of the messiest custody battles Hollywood has seen in years. Fast forward to May 2025. That's when everything hit the fan. Halle Bailey filed for a temporary restraining order against DDG, and the allegations she made were shocking. In court documents that were later obtained by multiple outlets, Halle accused DDG of being physically, verbally, emotionally, and financially abusive throughout their entire 2-year relationship. She didn't hold back. She claimed the abuse continued even after their breakup, and she was terrified for her safety and the safety of their son. The documents painted a disturbing picture. Halle requested that DDG be ordered to stay at least 100 yards away from her and from Halo at all times. That included staying away from Halo's school and even her car. This wasn't just about two people having a bad breakup. This was a woman saying she felt threatened, that she felt her child was in danger. Now, DDG didn't take these accusations lying down. Just weeks after Halle's filing, he fired back with his own allegations, and they were equally explosive. DDG accused Halle of emotional instability and coercive control. He claimed she had made repeated threats of suicide and self-harm, and that there were instances where she endangered Halo's safety while in emotional distress. He requested his own domestic violence restraining order, turning this custody battle into an all-out war. Suddenly, this wasn't about two celebrities trying to co-parent. This was about two people tearing each other down in the most public, most painful way possible. And caught in the middle of it all was a little boy who just wanted his parents. So where does the heartbreaking custody exchange come in? Well, according to reports and witness accounts that surfaced around mid-October 2025, there was an incident during a scheduled custody handoff that absolutely gutted everyone who heard about it. DDG was reportedly dropping Halo off after one of his visitation sessions. These visits were supposed to be smooth, professional, monitored exchanges, but this one didn't go as planned. Witnesses say that when it was time for DDG to leave, Halo started crying. Not just whimpering or fussing the way toddlers do. We're talking full-on heartbroken sobbing. The little boy clung to his father, refusing to let go. He wrapped his tiny arms around DDG's neck and wouldn't release his grip. It was as if he knew that if he let go, his daddy would disappear again, and he couldn't bear it. Can you even imagine? Picture a 22-month-old child, barely able to form full sentences, but feeling the weight of separation so intensely that he physically refuses to be apart from his dad. The monitors were there, the professionals were there, but they couldn't do anything to stop the tears. They couldn't make Halo understand why he had to say goodbye. And here's the part that really gets me. Some accounts say Halo didn't just cry when his dad left. He also cried when his mom left during previous exchanges. He didn't want to be left with the monitors. He didn't want the strangers. He wanted his parents. Both of them. Together. This child is living through something no toddler should have to experience. He's being passed between two people who once loved each other, but now can barely be in the same room. And he feels it. He feels every bit of that tension, that anger, that loss. Now let's talk about what the court documents actually say, because they reveal so much more than just one tearful exchange. According to the stipulation filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court on October 28, 2025, Halle Bailey and DDG have finally reached a temporary custody agreement. And yes, they've both agreed to drop their restraining orders against each other. That sounds like progress, right? But let's dig into the details because the devil is always in the details. Under this new arrangement, Halle Bailey has primary physical custody of Halo. That means the little boy lives with her most of the time. DDG, on the other hand, gets visitation on Wednesdays and certain weekends. They've also worked out a holiday schedule, so Halo can spend time with both parents during birthdays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those important moments. But here's where it gets even more intense. The court documents explicitly state that neither Halle nor DDG is allowed to post, upload, or share any photographs, images, or information about Halo on social media. Not on Instagram, not on TikTok, not anywhere. And it's not just them. Their friends and family members are also banned from posting about the child. Can you imagine being told you can't share a picture of your own son? That's how toxic this situation got. And there's more. Both parents are prohibited from talking badly about each other in public or in front of Halo. They can't trash each other on social media. They can't badmouth each other in interviews. And most importantly, they can't do it in front of their son. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is supposed to be about. Protecting Halo from the ugliness of their conflict. But let's be real. When you have to put legal orders in place to stop parents from dragging each other, you know things have gotten out of control. So why did it get this bad? What turned a supposedly amicable breakup into a full-blown legal war? Well, there are a few key incidents that really escalated things. One of the biggest flashpoints was back in November 2024, just a month after the breakup, when DDG brought Halo onto a live stream with Twitch star Kai Cenat. Now, for those who don't know, Kai Cenat is one of the biggest streamers on the planet, with millions of viewers tuning into his content. And DDG thought it would be cool to show off his son on the stream. But Halle Bailey, she was furious. She later said she did not approve of Halo being put on that live stream. She felt like DDG was using their son for clout, for views, for attention. And that moment became a major point of contention in their custody battle. It wasn't just about keeping Halo safe. It was about control. It was about trust. And once that trust was broken, everything fell apart. Then there was the Italy incident. In June 2025, DDG filed an emergency court request trying to stop Halle from taking Halo out of the country. Halle had planned a vacation to Italy, and DDG argued that if the child left the country, he would be without the protections of the court. He claimed that Halle posed a risk to Halo's emotional and psychological safety based on her alleged threats of self-harm. The judge ultimately denied DDG's request, and Halle was allowed to travel. But that incident just poured more gasoline on an already raging fire. And now, here we are. October 2025. A temporary custody agreement is in place. The restraining orders have been dropped. On paper, it looks like things are moving toward resolution. But anyone who's followed this case knows that the damage has been done. The heartbreak, the accusations, the tears, both from the parents and from little Halo, it's all out there for the world to see. Halle Bailey just released her debut solo album on October 25th. It's called Love, or something like it. And she's described it as a story of first love, heartbreak, and everything that comes after. You don't have to read between the lines to know that this album is about DDG. It's about the love they shared, the pain they caused each other, and the aftermath of it all. Music has always been Halle's way of processing her emotions, and this album is her most vulnerable work yet. Meanwhile, DDG has been relatively quiet on social media, at least when it comes to Halo. He's following the court order, not posting about his son, not making public statements. But those who know him say he's devastated. He loves that little boy more than anything, and being separated from him, even temporarily, is tearing him apart. So what does the future hold for Halle, DDG, and Halo? Well, the agreement they've reached is only temporary. That means at some point they'll have to go back to court and negotiate a more permanent custody arrangement. And if the past year has taught us anything, it's that nothing is guaranteed. Things can change. Tensions can flare up again. New allegations can surface. But here's what I hope happens. I hope both Halle and DDG take a step back and remember what's really important here. It's not about who gets more time. It's not about who looks better in the public eye. It's not about proving who was right and who was wrong. It's about a little boy named Halo who just wants to feel safe, loved, and secure. Because at the end of the day, Halo didn't ask for any of this. He didn't ask to be born into a celebrity family. He didn't ask for his parents' relationship to fall apart. And he definitely didn't ask to be the subject of court documents, restraining orders, and heartbreaking custody exchanges. What happened during that custody exchange, with Halo clinging to his father and crying, refusing to let go, that's not just a sad story. That's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that behind every headline, behind every legal filing, there's a real human being. In this case, a 22-month-old child who's just trying to understand why his world feels so broken. New court documents have revealed a lot about this custody battle. They've shown us the legal terms, the visitation schedules, the restraining orders, but they've also shown us something far more important. They've shown us the heartbreak, the pain, the tears of a little boy who just wants his mommy and daddy to stop fighting. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most important document of all.